So here's the next project. It's a 99 Blaster and the head gasket is blown on it. That was a video I just showed you of the air coming out. It also wouldn't start, but it wouldn't start because there wasn't any gas in it. So I put gas in it, started just fine. I'm going to clean it up with degreaser and everything. This thing has seen some serious abuse and hardly gets any maintenance done. It's very greasy and nasty. And that head gasket needs to be replaced. It's kind of in a hurry because I'm going to the dunes. And Vito's Performance in Michigan was the only place that had the part in stock and could get it to me in time. So props to them.
So I changed the oil in this blaster that I'm taking to the dunes, and it's pretty nasty. There's about half a quart in there. Just take the oil drain bolt out of the bottom, drain it out, put the drain bolt back, and then add the new fluid. The fill neck's right there. Just unscrew that, and then there's a window down here with two lines. Right there and right there, and it's at the top line. Ride it and then double check where that level's at, because the fluid will shift through the engine and level out a little bit better after you ride it. The Banshee took about a quart or so, and then I rode it and then it dropped down and took another half quart, so it runs at about a quart and a half. This one I believe is about 3/4, and I have about half in there now. So I'm going to take it for a ride after I replace that head gasket and see where the fluid level's at after that. Also, there's a few other small things that melted. I believe that the other half's right here. So that crankcase vent will have to be replaced. And then I'm going to probably replace this so that it doesn't leak as bad. And then do a carb rebuild as well. And also I'm going to do a video on adjusting the front brakes, making sure they're grabbing evenly or as evenly as possible, and making sure that they're grabbing at the same time as well. So there's a couple vids coming up. So I went to O'Reilly's and got 2 feet of fuel line. I'm going to run a fuel filter on this quad, and then I got 4 feet of vacuum line, which is going to be used for the crankcase tube that melted from the exhaust. So I popped off the cover plastic there on the front and on the tank. I'm going to take the tank off. It's just the 4 bolts. 1, 2, and then 3, 4. They're 10 millimeter. You got to unscrew the cap to get the plastic off, then put the cap back on. And then just pop off the fuel line, which is right here. Make sure it's off so you don't lose your fuel. I also think that the reserve on this is not working, so I'm going to put it on reserve and then blow some compressed air back through it to see if any debris or anything comes out. So those 5 head bolts are removed, and I also pulled out the spark plug. I'm going to pull off the head now and see what the gasket looks like.
So you have to pull the exhaust off first. There's one mounting bolt right up here that you pull off, and then there's the 2 on the flange that connect to the cylinder. I have those bolts off, so I'm going to pull the head off and see what that looks like. Looks like it's in pretty good shape. Those scratches are just from scraping the carbon out from the last rebuild. But I know that water is just because I just washed it. So looks like it's in good shape, just the bolts weren't tightened down enough, so I'm going to replace that tomorrow. So you can see there's still some cross hatching in the cylinder. So the cylinder's still good. It was definitely just the head gasket that was leaking. Quad still started and ran, but it would die when you weren't pressing the throttle. So maybe the idle needs to come up, and it might have something to do with the leaky head gasket too. So clean all that up, wait for the new head gasket tomorrow. Reinstall that, and then reinstall the head, the exhaust, the gas tank, and it'll be good to go.
So you can see where the 2 halves melted. Half of it's right there from the exhaust, and then the other half for the crankcase is right there. So I bought this vacuum line, which should be the same diameter inside, and I'm going to rerun that. It's supposed to go up to your handlebars and then back down, and that's basically just supposed to allow the expansion and contraction of the heat in the crankcase to come out and go back in without getting water in there. So I'm going to replace that, throw some zip ties on it, try to keep it out of the way of the exhaust.